We are on 13b at the first wide line. Everybody got it? Can you hear me okay?
And where's exactly, where is that
On the
stuff?
Rabbanan, first wide line on 13b. Got it? Can you guys hear me?
Yes,
Okay, good. Okay, you got the place?
I think so.
Okay, Tana Rabbanan. Kishanasi nichnas, when the Nasi, how do we translate Nasi here? It's like the
Usually
head of
king. We were
the
talking
king.
about the whole Masech, it was the king.
Right. So here we appear to be talking about the Sanhedrin. That's a good point. But okay, so because here we're going to be talking about well, it could mean the king also, but of course there's no king anymore. So this is that position of Nasi was then held by the head of the Sanhedrin. So when he comes in to the room, to the base medrash, Kol Omdim, everybody stands up. Vein Yoshimat Sheomer Lahem Shvu. They have to stay standing until he says, "Be seated." Kishav Beis Din Nichnas. Now that you also have this is like the Av Beis Din was like second in command to the Nasi.
We also referred to the Nasi earlier as the Rosh Galuta.
Right. So different historical periods, I guess, or different functions that were different leadership positions, and they were assigned this category of Nasi.
So who is he now?
Who's he now? We appear to be talking about when the Sanhedrin is in place. That's what it seems to me. But
So
the
it would be
same would
like Rabban
apply.
Gamliel would be an example. He was
Yeah, I
a
think so.
Nasi,
I
right?
think so. The same would apply in the time of a king. The same would apply to a king, I suppose. Or as you say, the Reish Kalusa, if that's what was available or what was in force. Now Kshav Beis, that's when the Av Beis, who's like the second in command, comes in. Osim lo shura chas mikan, the shura chas mikan. They kind of make two rows for him to walk in. I mean, this is, to me, it's reminiscent of a Beis Hakvaros, of the cemetery, but
Cemetery, I know.
Nichum Avelim. But that's not. I mean, here we're talking about respect, not Nichum, obviously. Until he gets to his spot. So I guess the difference is they don't have to wait until he directs them to sit down. Kishachacham nichnas, and when a Talmid Chacham comes in, echad omed v'echad yoshev ad sheyeshev bimkomo. It's like a rolling, like a wave. Okay, like as he passes by you, you stand up, and then when he passes by, you can sit down. Bnei Chachamim and Talmidei Chachamim, the sons of the Chachamim, and also their students, Bisman Shuravim Srichim Lahem, when they are fulfilling a public function, then Mafsin al Rasheham, they can step over the heads of the people. I don't think that means literally. It's like, remember that everybody generally was sitting on the floor, and if you walked through the crowd, then it would kind of appear like you're stepping on them. So in other words, you can go to the front. These sons or students of the Talmidei Chachamim can go, like everybody else should sit. Basically, they come in and you sit in the back of wherever people are sitting at that time, but these people can walk through the crowd.
Gemara doesn't mention the Zaken, no? Because the Torah, that's a Meforish pasuk in Torah, Mipnei Zaken Takum.
Mipnei Seva.
It says Mipnei Seva Takum. And it doesn't mention that.
Yeah. So rabbinically, I mean, our interpretation is that is someone who is an elder in wisdom or learning, but also in age. But I guess this is a fulfillment of that. Yeah. Right. You're standing up now. The Gemara is defining the custom of exactly how long to stand and so on, as the Gemara does. What if someone has to go out, presumably to, like, during the shir, like to use the bathroom? You can come back and go back to your place. B'nai Talmidei Chachamim, but that is like the the chachamim themselves. B'nei talmidei chachamim, their sons, shemunim aviem parnasal tzibur, if their fathers are in a leadership position. Bizman sheish lem das lishmoa. So why are they coming to the shir? If they're in themselves, the sons themselves are intelligent and can understand the shir, then nichnasim v'yoshvim shnei avim. Then when they come in, they can sit, they can sit by their father, and they can sit with their backs to the people, because they're like one of the students, but they get to sit in the front because of their father, their closeness to their father. But if they're just coming to attend to their father, but not to listen to the lecture, not to listen to the shir, then they same thing. They can come in and they can sit before their fathers, but they should turn and face the people. Presumably, that's more. If you're not listening to the shir, it's more respectful to face the people. Rabbi Elazar bar Rabbi Tzadok Omer, Af b'veis hamishta osim osam snifim. Even at a party, like presumably a wedding or something, then they become kind of offshoots of their fathers. In other words, they get to sit at the head table with their, or whatever, they get to sit in the choice seats with their fathers. Now, Amar, so we said before, if you go out, then the chacham goes out, he can come back to his place, go through the crowd. Amar Papa, lo amru. That's only if you're going to relieve yourself to urinate. But to defecate, no. You have to you don't have the privilege to return to your seat. Why? You should have thought of this before you went in, right? Don't disrespect the people. You know you're going to need to use the bathroom. Then you should have done so beforehand. If you didn't, we're going to kind of penalize you by not letting you disrupt the lecture by walking back through the crowd. But presumably, to urinate, like, you can't necessarily prepare yourself for that. That urge could come on you during the shir. There's no way to avoid that. And this is what Rabbi Yehuda said. You should train yourself to get up early and to go to bed early. Sorry, not to get up early, but to defecate like early in the morning and wait for the evening, so you don't have to like leave what you're doing. When you get up in the morning, you have a chamber pot and use it then. And now but now we're not, we're weak. We don't have the same control over our bodies. I feel like that we recognize that people might, even if they have prepared, even if they've gone to the bathroom in the morning, they might still have to again during the shir, and so we don't practice what we just said. Then the chacham can, no matter why he has to leave, he can come back and sit in his spot.
Rabbi Elazar, even today, I mean, we've learned that physiologically, sometimes people we find that food or a beverage may stimulate person, so that it takes him an hour or two until he's able to relieve himself.
Yeah. And then, sometimes, like, if you're not well, right? If you have some kind of intestinal disorder, obviously, you're gonna have to go when you gotta go, right? It doesn't.
Well, that's right. That's something else. But
yeah.
I'm thinking.
Anyway, so Rav is saying that nowadays we all consider ourselves, it's like we're not able to be so regular necessarily.
Also depends on the type of food one may eat. Also, that has a a significant influence on how
for sure
one can relieve himself.
For sure.
Or when.
Yeah. Now we said Rabbi Elazar bar Rabbi Tzadok Omer Afbeis Hamishna Osim Osam Snifim, that you make the sons, you give them the privileges of the father. That's only while their father is still alive and in the presence of their father. So if I go to a wedding, I don't expect to be treated. If I'm the son of a Talmid Chacham, I don't get to sit at the head table unless my father is there too. Okay, Amar Rabbi Yochanan. B'mei Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel Nishnes Mishnazu. This halacha was taught in the days of Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel. Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel Nasi, and he was the Nasi, right? So he taught about himself. Respect me. Rabbi Meir Chacham, and Rabbi Meir was a Chacham, and Rabbi Nassan of Beis Din. Rabbi Nassan was the Av Beis Din. Ki Avram Shimon Gamliel Hasam. When Rabbi Shimon came there to the base medrash, Havukami Kuli Alma Mikame, everybody would stand up. Ki Availe Rabbi Meir Rabbi Nassan, Havukami Kuli Alma Mikamayu. Then everybody also stood up. Amar Rabbi Shimon Gamliel, Labo Lemeve Hakera Ben Dili Liditu. Shouldn't there be a like a distinction made? Like I'm the Nasi, I'm the number one guy. Like I should get more covered than they get. Talking less Nisa. So he made this distinction. Like, okay, for the Nasi, for me, everybody has to stand up until I get to my spot and tell you to sit down. For Rav Nosson and Rav Meir, we'll have like less, a little bit less of a cover, right? That you don't have to wait for him to tell you to sit down.
But some rabbanim, they're mocho on their cover. They say they don't want people to be. They're very
right.
anivud. They used to say about
So you get the
about Rav Shlomo Zalman Auerbach that he knew people would stand up for him. So he made a point when he went to shul. They had different minyanim. He would go in when the people were when the kedusha of the previous minyan, so they wouldn't have to stand up for him. They were already standing for kedusha.
Uh-huh. Well, Rabbi Shimon Gamliel clearly had a different sense of decorum, shall we say? And we'll see how was it personally motivated or what? We'll see. This is a fantastic story. I mean, it's well, you'll see. So anyway, how yom on the day that Rabbi Gamliel made this announcement, well, how Reb Meir Reb Nassan Hassan. Conveniently, Reb Meir and Reb Nassan weren't there. Lamachar Kiyas. So next day, Reb Meir and Reb Nassan come back. Chazu the lokam come out kiddur rigla milsa. They saw there was a distinction in how they were treated. They're like, what's going on? Amari, my high, what's going on here? Oh, you missed the shir yesterday. Rabbi Gamliel, hang on a second, sorry.
Change the rules.
Okay, sorry about that, guys. I'm back. Um, okay, so um, so Reb Meir and Reb Nassan, they come back the next day and they see they're being disrespected, and they find out that when they weren't there, Reb Gamliel, put in this new rule that made him the top dog. Um, yes. Okay, so they're like, what's going on here? Um, So Amar Le Rav Meir Rav Nassan. So Rav Meir says Rav Nassan, "I'm not chacham but of basing. Listen, we're important people too. Nisakin Milsa Ki Ladidan. Let's retaliate against Rav Shimon Gamliel. My Navid, what are we going to do? Namele Gali Uksim Delesle. Let's ask him to give a share on Uktim, and he doesn't know Uktim so well. But Kevin Delo Gamar Gamar, and since he'll reveal his ignorance, Namele will say." So who is the one that should teach about the greatness of Hashem? Is someone who can talk about all of his praises, right? In other words, Lamina Lamalek versus Hashem, who's the one who should be the leader? Someone who could teach the whole Torah. Nabre, and we're gonna depose him from his position of Nasi. Vahava ana av beis Viat Nasi. I'll be the av beis you be the Nasi. We'll get rid of Rabbi Shimon Gamliel. Shaminu Rabbi Yaakov ben Karshi. So Rabbi Yaakov overhears this conversation. Amar, he said, Dilma Chas Shalom Asya Mil Solidei Kisufa. It's going to embarrass Rabbi Shimon Gamliel. Azal Yasif Achare, you'll say to Rabbi Shimon Gamliel. So he went and stood behind Rabbi Shimon Gamliel, Pashat, and he started learning Uktzin, right? Loud, right? Garas Vatana. He did the whole Maseches Uktzin while standing behind Rabbi Shimon Gamliel.
So Rabbi Shimon Gamliel was learning it from him? Was that the point?
Well, not consciously, but let's see what happens. Amar Maidakama. He said, what's going on here? He sees that something unusual is going on here. I mean, who goes and learns Uktzin? Maybe there's something afoot. Yav Date Vigarsa. So then Rabbi Shimon Gamliel decided, you know what? I'm going to study Uktzin. It's like a sign that I should learn Uktzin. Lamachar Amrulay. So then the next day they carried out their plan. Rav Meir Rav Nassan says, and they say Marvin, you say Uktzin. Why don't you give us a shear in Uktzin? So he gave a shear. Basar da Okim Amrlahu, and then when he finished, he said, "Ilo gamirna kasifisnan." If I hadn't learned Uktzin last night, you would have embarrassed me. Pakid vapkinu mi beibin drasha. He threw them out, right? So their plan backfires, and they get expelled from the base medrash. Havukasve kushiasa v'shadu hasam. Bepiska v'shadu hasam. So what would they do? They sat outside. When they had questions they listened to the shir from outside. When they had questions, they sent in notes. They have a miprak, and then those questions that could be answered were answered. And then if they didn't get the answer to their question, guess what? They knew the answers. They wrote the notes, the answers, and sent them in by notes also. In other words, they're just kind of testing Rav Shimon Gamliel. So Yossi says, you know what? Looks like the guy that really knows Uktzin is outside. Rav Meir and Rav Nassan, they really know Uktzin, even better than Rav Shimon Gamliel. Let's go outside. Rav Shimon Gamliel Nailinu. So okay, Rav Shimon Gamliel says fine. Let them back into the base medrash. Miu niknesinu lo name rishmata mishmayu. But we're going to penalize them. When we quote them, we're not going to quote them by name, right? Asikul Rav Meir Acherim. So then they started calling Rav Meir Acherim. So like Acherim Omrim, or as you know, Rav Meir was known as Acher.
Acher.
And Rav Nassan Yesh Omrim. And sometimes the Gemara says Yesh Omrim, so that's Rav Nassan. So they're not quoting him by name.
Could this be one of the things that led Rav Meir astray, that he didn't?
Maybe
when he was somewhat embarrassed or penalized?
He became an apikaros, yeah. So maybe. So then they had dreams. Rav Meir and Rav Nassan had dreams. Zilu Paisin Rav Shimon Gamliel. The dream was go and make up with Rav Shimon Gamliel. Rav Nassan Asal. Rav Nosson did. Meir Lazar. Meir did not. Amar Divrei Chalomos Lomali Lomarin. He says that's a dream. Dreams don't mean anything. He also Rav Nosson. Amar Le Rishim Gamliel. Nihi Da'hani Lach Kamra Davuch Lemeve Av Beisin. Yeah, your father's kamra, your father's like belt, whatever. Like you had some yichos that you got to be the Av Beisin, but Shavinuch Nami Nasi. So like that we're gonna make you the Nasi. Like you may have achieved a certain level, but that doesn't through yichos, but that doesn't mean you're going to go all the way to the top. Okay, crazy story. Masnei le Rabbi Rabbi Shimon Berei. Rabbi taught Rabbi Shimon his son. Acherim Omrim. Others say, others would be Rabbi Meir now. Ilu haya Tamura lo haya karev. Was it our Mishnah referred to Acherim? No. So we're referring.
What's the end with Rabbi Natan here? That Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel challenged him and he didn't respond. Then, right? You think you're going to be Nasi because your father was Nasi, and there's no response then.
No, because Rav Nassan had the dream, and then he went and made up with Rabbi Shimon Gamliel. He apologized.
Right.
Now, did he get removed from? No, it doesn't seem like any of them got removed from their positions. But the punishment seems to have stuck. But he was told to apologize in the dream, so he did. But Rabbi Meir.
So what happened to Rabbi Meir?
Oh no! So Rabbi Nassan. Oh, it was Rabbi Nassan who he said, "Listen, okay, like you apologize, great, but that doesn't mean you're going to get to be the Nasi."
Right, exactly. So did Rab Natan challenge him then? He said, "Listen, what do you?" It's a denigration. If he says to him, "Just because your father was Nasi, you think you're going to become Nasi," and that leaves it as a question. The Gemara doesn't show, or Rab Natan didn't respond, or he did, or we don't know.
That seems to be the last word. It seems like Rav Nassan had his tail between his legs, as it were. That's how I understand it. Okay, and then the Gemara says that Rabbi Shimon taught his son in the Acherim moment. Like he actually put this into practice, that Rav Meir was called Acherim. Amrla. So Rav Shimon said to Rabbi, Mihem halalu shemleimeim anushosim ushmosam einanu maskirim. Rabbi Shimon said to Rabbi, who are these people that we quote their Torah, but we don't mention their names? Amalei, bnei adam shabikshu lachar kavodcha. These are people who wanted to remove you from your honor, kavod beis avicha. Wanted to kick you out of your position. Amalei, he said, Gama havasam, gam sinasam, gam kinasam, kfar avada. He's like, it's all in the past. Let's and some of the art scroll note assumes here that this is after Rav Meir died. So it's like, okay, listen, this is all in the past. We can start quoting him by name. Amalei, so Rabbi said to him, but ha'oyev tamu charvas lanetzach. The enemy is finished, but the charvas lanetzach, but the ruins remain forever. In other words, just because he died doesn't mean you have to revoke your decree. Amalei, so he answered, that's when your enemies actually destroyed something. But these guys, they tried to depose me, they failed, so we can forgive them, in the fullness of time.
This was not Rabbi Yehuda, it was Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel. They tried to depose.
Yeah. So this is Rabbi Shimon is talking to Rabbi.
But Rabbi was not Rabbi Shimon Gamliel. Well, where's
the connection? So this is a conversation between Rabbi Shimon and Rabbi, right? So Rabbi Shimon is still is saying like, okay, Rabbi Meir is gone, we can refer to him by name again, and Rabbi is saying like, no, like we should keep quoting him anonymously. Hadar Asnile, But then, so Rebbe gives in. He's like, okay, fine. We don't have to disrespect Rameir anymore.
The Rebbe Shimon, this is the when it says Rebbe Shimon, that's the son of Rebbe, right? Shimon ben Gamliel was the son of Rebbe?
No, Rav Shimon Gamliel was the son of Gamliel.
Right. So then when it says Rebbe, Mani le Rebbe, the Rabban Shimon Beret. So that was Shimon was the son of Rebbe.
Oh, 1 second.
Right. Matni le Rebbe le Rabban Shimon Beret. So that's another Rabban Shimon.
Oh, it's another Rabbi Shimon. Okay, very good. Very good. Okay, so whatever. So so it's not Rabbi Shimon Gamliel involved in this conversation, but they're still discussing, like, should we be quoting Reb Meir even after he's gone? Yeah, good point. Thank you.
So that is, but is there a line from Rabbi Yehuda Nasi from Rabbi Shimon Gamliel to Rabbi Yehuda Nasi? Were they related? I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
Could he have been a grandson of Rabbi Shimon Gamliel, and Rabbi Shimon was his son? So it was a great grandson. I don't remember the lineage. That would make some sense, but I don't remember the lineage.
Yeah. Regardless, the argument could take place, between it doesn't. It's not necessarily the case, but it could have been. I just don't know. It's a good question
because it says here, "Bnei Adam shebikshu la'akor kevodcha ukevod beit avicha." So when he says that they tried to uproot you and the honor of your father, or your father's house.
Okay, yeah, that's a good point.
So that's why I'm thinking, and I'm just not sure whether Rabbi Yehuda Nasi was of the lineage of Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, it makes sense if it's the case. I don't know either. I'll look it up after. So anyway, Hadarasnile. So Rabbi Shimon won the argument, and Rabbi went back and he said, "Amar Mishum Rabbi Meir." They said it in the name of Rabbi Meir. Eli Etmur Leika. Amar Rabba. Afilu Rabbi dan Basanusa who Tana. Even Rabbi, who was himself a humble person, he taught Amar Mishum Rabbi Meir that he quoted Rabbi Meir. Amar Rabbi Meir Amar.
Rabbi Meir.
Mishum Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Meir lo Amar. He quoted it a little bit differently. He said like Mishum Rabbi Meir, like in the name of Rabbi Meir, but he didn't. He still kept a vestige of this punishment, if you will, by quoting him a little bit indirectly. Okay, so he wasn't completely convinced that they should let it go. Rabbi Yochanan, Pligu ba Ram Shimon Gamliel Rabbanan. There was a machlokas between Rav Shimon Gamliel and the rabbis. Chad Amar Sinai Adif, Chad Amar Okar Harim Adif. So there's a famous machlokas. What's better, encyclopedic knowledge or brilliant logic, or powers of derivation? Rabbi Yosef Sinai. Rabbi Yosef was a Sinai, somebody who knew everything. Rabba Okar Harim. Rabba was someone who uprooted mountains, who could argue his way into anything. Shalchul Taman, they sent a message to Eretz Yisrael. Ezer and Kodem, which is more, which one deserves more respect? Shalchulei, they sent back Sinai on it. Knowledge is better. Jamar, as we said, Hakol Trichin Lamari Chitaya, everybody needs the owner of the wheat. So in other words, if you don't have anything to start from, if you don't have knowledge, then your logic isn't going to get you anywhere. Even so, Rabbi Yosef, who was the Sinai, he didn't want to take the leadership position. Malach Rabba asked him to so Rabba was in charge for 22 years. And then when he died, then Rabbi Yosef took over. All those 22 years, Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Yosef didn't even take house calls from the bloodletters. Like he wouldn't take any honor that he felt belonged to the leader. Abai Rabba, Rabbi Zera, Rabbi Bar Masna, Rabbi Yasve, these four were sitting together. They needed a leader, right? They needed to appoint someone to lead the chavrusa or whatever. Amre, they said, called the Amr. They'll say whoever says something and we can't argue with it. Let me that one will be the leader of the chulu ikrich. But then everything that they taught, they all had problems with it. The Abaye lo ikrich, except for Abaye. Chazye Rava Abaye the Gavar Reshe. So Rava saw that Abaye was a little too proud of himself. Amalei Nachmani Pesach ve'ema. He said Nachmani. That was Abaye's, another way to call Abaye. Like Abaye was more of his more honorary title, so he called him Nachmani. He said, "Go ahead, Nachmani." In other words, to bring him down a peg. They asked her, who was more?
Wasn't he the Talmud? Here Rashi says it. Ata Talmido shel Rav Nachman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he's not so he's like, don't forget, you're not so great. You're somebody's student also.
Right, exactly.
Who they asked, Rav Zera, which one is better, Rav Zera or Rabba? Rav Zera Chari Fumaksha. Rav Zera asked great questions. Rav Masna Matun. Rav Masna Matun. And Rav Masna is more of a patient. Masun Masik. He's like, he thinks carefully and he gets to the end, right? Rav Zera has great questions. And Rabba, he considers things more and gets to the answers. Which is better? Where's this Teku? Good question. We don't know the answer. Horayot, Mazel Tov, and finishing another Masechta. Tomorrow we will begin Maseches Zvachim. Have a good day, everybody.
Okay.